Good afternoon, sir. My name is Lara Kamai and I work with CBC News. I would like to know, as the parallel market rates have started climbing up again, I would like to know what your comments are on this development. That's number one. Then the inflation rate now at about 14.23%. I'd like to know what measures you're putting in place to address this.
Talking about the parallel market, saying that exchange rate is at 480. I want to say this, that it is unfortunate and really unfair that even analysts who are supposed to know will play with numbers and begin to determine the exchange rate of our currency using parallel market rates. For the information of everybody, parallel market, as far as we know it and the data that we have, is a shallow market in Nigeria with no more than 5% of market share. Parallel market, and quote me, is a tainted market in Nigeria where people who desire to deal in illegal foreign exchange transactions, including sourcing of FX cash for purpose of offering bribes, corruption, that is where they deal. And that is where people who are supposed to understand the implication of this on the economic activity on our country begin to go to television and begin to say that our exchange rate is 480. This is very unfortunate that this is the way those who are supposed to know try to bend numbers in this country. Parallel market is a market where people who do not provide documentations to support their transactions deal in. It cannot be a basis to determine the value of our currency. Everybody knows and is accepted that the NFX market, which is predominantly the ironing window, is a market that should be used for determining the exchange of our naira. As far as we are concerned today, the NFX ranges between 380 going to 386, 387, and we have been very open about the market price determination factors in that market. The central bank has no hand in price determination in that market. And in any case, when people say that it should depreciate, the currency should depreciate. Nigeria has depreciated its currency this year by 28%. That is a whooping depreciation compared to depreciation in some countries. India has depreciated by 9% from our records. Indonesia by 4%. South Africa by 9%. Russia by 22%. Nigeria 24%. Brazil by 28%. Turkey 33%. And Argentina by 35%. I do not understand what and how people who are supposed to know will begin to crave further depreciation of the currency. But we are saying, even if the currency is overvalued, shouldn't we go through a stepwise process where the shock can be less felt than where those who are supposed to know how this works begin to create panic in the market by saying that the exchange of Nigeria is 480. It is very unfortunate. But on our side, we will continue to insist that the exchange rate is determined by forces of demand and supply in the NFX market. We do not agree that the determining factor for the exchange rate in Nigeria for our currency should be based on a market that is tainted, a market where people go to offer bribes, and you can imagine where you can pay any price to buy foreign exchange to pay bribe. We are not going to be party to that, and we will continue to say this to anybody who cares to listen. Ask, what are the specific steps being taken to exit recession? Recession or contraction in growth, in output, is what we have seen throughout the entire world as a result not only of drop in commodity prices, but because of the adverse consequences of the health crisis created by COVID-19. In some developed countries, during the first, second, and even the third quarter, we saw some of them even showing double-digit contraction in growth. But in Nigeria, what we've seen, during the second quarter, we saw a minus 6.1% contraction, and I will use pleasantly in third quarter, a reduction in output to 3.6% negative during the third quarter. Let me say that we are hopeful, and the Minister of Finance had addressed some gathering yesterday where she said that she's hopeful that during the first quarter of 2021, Nigeria will exit recession. Based on data available to the MPC from the CBN, we are somewhat cautiously optimistic that indeed, if we continue doing what we're doing and do more, that there's a likelihood that we will see some little positive output numbers during the fourth quarter of 2020. But I can say with some level of certainty as well that we are so certain that during the first quarter of 2021, we will exit the recession. Why? As a result of all the actions taken by the monetary and fiscal authorities, NBS National Bureau of Statistics numbers shows that 18 sectors during the third quarter recorded growth relative to 13 sectors during the second quarter. And this growth were recorded mainly from the agricultural sector, industry, manufacturing. Indeed, we saw even services dropping somewhat slightly. But agriculture coming on very strongly also means that what we can achieve from whatever we're doing to stimulate agriculture and manufacturing will create jobs for our people and also stimulate spending, will increase output, and ultimately lead to a moderation in the level of inflation in our country. He says inflation is at 14.3%. What measures are we putting in place? Well, you've heard everything that we're doing. But at this time, the Monetary Policy Committee felt, yes, there are issues, growth, exchange rate, inflation, because interest rate is somewhat moderated. But we decided Monetary Policy felt that we should be looking more at exiting the recession. So, what do we do to exit the recession is what was the main focus at this. And then to address the inflation side, we said it is better for us to look at attacking inflation from the supply side. Supply side how? Offer low interest rate to people. Offer low interest rate to corporates. Offer low interest rate to small businesses, so they can go to work, so they can employ people. By employing people, we see improvement in manufacturing and industrial output. When there is improvement in industrial and manufacturing output, what you will see is that supply for goods will increase, perhaps surpass demand, so that prices can come down and ultimately impact positively on inflation. That is the strategy monetary policy has decided unanimously to adopt. It's not my position. It's a position of 10 people, and it is a unanimous decision, and we feel Nigerians should please allow us give this a chance, and let's see how this works.